Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the Six Bugle Podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Ruiz, and today we have a very special guest and a good friend of mine, Shane Crutcher. Chief Crutcher is an executive level leader with a demonstrated history of working in the federal, military, state, and local industry of law enforcement, physical security, and fire and emergency services. Shane is currently the sixth National Fire Chief of the National Park Service. His background includes federal, career, volunteer, and contract experience in emergency services programs management and in the international and national state levels. Please welcome Fire Chief Shane Crutcher. Chief, how are you, sir?
Good man. Good to see you, Rudy. Good to catch up with you. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a while. We've traveled all around the country talking about mentorship in the fire service. We're teaching departments, members of departments of volunteer, combination, career departments. Ran into a lot of good people and certainly made a lot of new friends along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great opportunity to really engage with folks all across the country, and as much as anything, and we'll probably talk about it, is just learn from them.
Right, right, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to join us on our podcast here, and to kind of share some of those experiences, and so that others can benefit from that, and maybe even start their own mentorship program. Although the program that we're involved in is no longer being provided. However, the just the thought of the whole system of mentorship and mentors and mentees getting together to improve the fire service is very, very important. So I have a couple questions for you. Based on your extensive experience across federal, state, and local fire services, what are the key benefits you've observed when departments implemented structured mentorship programs? And how do these programs specifically impact both the recruit development and the veteran firefighter retention?
Yeah, that's just a great question, Rudy. And look, I think it really starts with engagement. At the end of the day, I really feel like that. You know, whether it's the new recruit walking in the door or the veteran that's been there 20 years, the engagement that brings them immediately into becoming part of that organization as quick as possible is just key. That engagement shows that there's ownership amongst the ranks of the organization, and in most cases, folks are like folks that are involved in mentorship. They truly understand the inner workings of their organization and what it takes to be competent at the levels that they're working at and what above them. And I think that leads right into people, right? That's the second piece that I think is probably feeds off of that engagement. Because of that engagement, that ownership that is really shared amongst the workforce, whether it's volunteer or career, to be fair, it's noticeable, and people see that and they feed off of that, whether they're new or they've been there for years, and they're looked at as that senior member. The opportunity for them to really be engaged, be brought in, and feel part of something quick and stay, engaged is key. And that is what really feeds into really breeding great people, and ultimately turns into that tool that really people start to talk about, right? Word gets out from one organization to the next of people that are doing things right? Like just as fast as the bad, right? The good definitely rise to the top, and those folks, those organizations and those people that make those organizations that what's being spoken about, I think probably is what defines them as it relates to future recruitment, and then what keeps people wanting to be a part of it, right? Like in many cases, there may be challenges and struggles. Let's just be clear. Every organization has challenges and struggles. There is no perfect organization out there. For someone to say that or portray that, I think is just not fair. Now, there are some with less challenges and some with less struggles, right? But I think with those struggles and with those challenges, it's the engagement of the people to address them is what makes an organization desirable. So, those two factors, that engagement and the people and their tie into that engagement, I believe is what really shows the difference between departments that do and don't have mentorship programs.
Right. And a lot of it has to do with being part of a winning team, right? Everybody wants to be a part of a winning team. And you can
Yep.
see how the relationships that are built due to the mentorship builds a more solid team. And other people that are outside of the organization can see that and say, hey, I don't want to be a part. I would love to be a part of a team like that. And just to show that. And then once it becomes ingrained in the system of the DNA of the organization, then it
Right.
becomes second nature, right? And then it's automatic. And that's what's really going to drive the departments to become more and more successful and sustain that successibility.
Yeah. Look, what become that word you just used, when it becomes second nature, that's what we also refer to as culture, right?
Right.
That becomes the changing of culture. And before you know it, it is contagious. And
Yes.
to your point, people want to succeed, people want to win. You just have to let them be in the right places and empower them to win.
Right.
Right. In many cases, chiefs are guilty of this, and because we have to answer to the good and the bad, right? And
Mhm.
when we have to answer to the bad, we want to be able to have answers. Um, but there is something to empowering others to make decisions that should be made at their level, to allow them to have ownership and influence. And I just, influence is leadership, leadership is influence. It's transparent, and you can flip it any which way around you want to. You can give it, you can take it, you can barter it. But it is the lifeblood of making sure that people are empowered to be successful. And look, if you're engaged and your people are part of it, whether you start out as a winning team, you will become a winning team.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. It it becomes like you said, just the energy that's being uh, sent and received. It truly is magical, and it's something that we should all strive for. Another question for you, Chief. You and I have taken mentorship programs, these concepts nationwide. Can you share a couple of the most effective features or the components from these presentations that departments can immediately implement to start building stronger mentor-mentee relationships with their organizations?
Yeah, I think probably number one is it's scalable, right? Like, you don't have to have a major metro department to make this work. You can have the absolute smallest, most rural volunteer department, and mentorship can be key. You can have a large all career organization that relies on mentorship and the program to develop into future positions as part of promotion, and it works. Right. I think that mentorship is so scalable. It is, just think of it as like incident command, right? Like, it's important, it's necessary, it's brought into what we do on every single incident, but we can make it as big as we need it to be or as small as we need it to be.
Right.
And it is tailored to the event, where this is tailored to the organization. So I would say number one is scalability, right?
Mhm.
I think the second part of that is, you find these little nuggets in mentorship in itself, right? As you're able to bring in, what I think is key to this, because it keeps it fresh, is bringing in external folks to be part of this process, right? Finding nuggets of very unique backgrounds and areas where folks have been successful. I believe that keeps mentorship programs fresh, right? So you look to places where you may have not looked previously, right? A great example is our administrative staffs, right? Like, let's just tying that into this, right? Like, our administrative staffs tend to be the crux that holds organizations together, that we
Right.
just don't really understand and appreciate until they're not there, or until something fails or breaks, right? And then you know where to go to get it done. So understanding that one, it's scalable, and two, finding those nuggets of opportunity to be mentored by others that are not necessarily in the fire service or our business, I think is quite honestly, some of those key features that you can see and take away and really interject. Right, it's not hard to ask somebody, hey, can you come talk to my folks about whatever, right? And
Right.
can just tie it into a little bit of leadership, or
Yes.
how we can be better. Like, that is not hard to do. And in every community, I won't say every community, but in the bulk of our communities, fire departments are looked at in a very positive nature, and
Absolutely.
folks would take advantage of that
Oh yeah.
opportunity to be able to share what they do, right? So I think the scalability and the nuggets of engagement from the least expected areas, I believe, are what really make mentorship programs so opportunistic, because you can invest a lot of time, effort, and money in building a very comprehensive program, or you can simply invite somebody to come speak to your people and relate it to mentorship and how it becomes relevant to what we do. So,
Right.
there's just so many options that exist there, Rudy.
Yes, definitely. And especially for our administrative assistants who are there, you don't typically think about a mentorship program for them, but on the contrary, you can get outside business folks, you can get bankers, investors, and how do they manage the financial piece to the organization? How do you get with HR directors and try to build on that communication piece? How do we take care of our billing, those types of things, and those are beneficial. And at the very least, just build that partnership to say, "Hey, I have a problem. Who can I go to?" Right? And usually, the administrative
Yeah.
assistant is the only one there, and they can only refer to the chief or the firefighters or even their own families, which is what how we created this whole thing, just to provide a support mechanism for them to grow and be a resource for their organization that ultimately is going to help their community. So yeah, absolutely. There's the wide variety. There's no limitations. Don't keep a lid on it. Expand to the community because you're absolutely right. There are organizations out there that love their fire departments and they want to be able to provide and give something back, and it means something to them.
Yeah, look, we talked, you and I talked at length as we went to these fire departments about where we tend to struggle as leaders in the fire service and using mentorship programs to enhance and develop them.
Mm.
One area that we were always great at was the hard skills, but what
Right.
we sucked at was the soft skills,
Right.
right? It is,
Right.
how do I hire somebody? How do I process a PR? How do I engage with a potentially a challenging individual that I
Mm.
might have to, discipline, right? Like those
Right.
are the soft skills that we do not get trained as fire service members enough, right? Like
Right.
it's there. Sometimes it's built into some HR policies, but it's very like rigid. Say
Right.
this, don't say that. You're
Right.
going to, bring liability. Like, okay, but before we get to that point, how do we learn how to just talk to people and engage to people from different backgrounds and expertises? And then, oh, by the way, when they come to us and rely on us to do leader things, right, that are the soft skills, where do I go to figure that stuff out, right? And
Right.
your point is well taken, right? In many cases, it's those administrative assistants because they know the people, they have the connections. Some places they are the connection,
Mhm.
right? And we have to learn from them and we have to evolve from them and use their skills and their backgrounds to be better leaders and to be better mentors. Because
Right.
ultimately, if we learn that and we're better at it, then we can in turn share that, pass that forward, pay it forward to the next group, and it can become skill development that in many cases we overlook. And
Right.
when we get to those very senior echelons and organizations, you see chiefs struggle at what we would consider to be some of the more easy things because it's a soft skill that they never had an opportunity to develop.
Right. Right. And there's so many opportunities out there to learn that, especially from other people that are outside your organization. Take advantage of those opportunities because they're out there. Get that communication skill going so that when you do finally make that eye to eye contact, get that hit of dopamine. Yeah, it makes you feel good inside, right? Uh, do a fist bump or a pat on the back. Get that hit of oxytocin for the mind. Those chemicals that enrich your mind, and it's going to make you want to do more. It makes you want to be more excited about coming into work the next day and doing a good job so that it progressively grows and gets stronger and better and faster. So yeah, those all those things are very, very cool. And you and I both know that it's something that we need to address and look forward to, because otherwise you're going to be overwhelmed with this quiet quitting and all this stuff that's going on there right now. The different generations that are out there that are trying to communicate better with each other, and we just keep getting in our own way. And we have to find a way to get around that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great phrase, quiet quitters, right? You
Yeah.
just don't you just never know. I love it. I will repeat that.
Well, thank you very much, Chief, for your time. You certainly were a joy to have you on our show here. And we're gonna have to definitely get together. I'm gonna have to go out west and pay a visit to you and say hello to you again. It certainly has been a while, but I know you're doing some great things out there for the fire service and the National Park Service. And we absolutely love going out there. I took my wife to the Grand Canyon for our anniversary, and it was absolutely magical. I tell people you have to go see it for yourself because it truly is something that you never forget.
Look, you're welcome anytime, right? And I would love to see you, but I have to remind myself often, that I'm actually working, because many times, well, not many, anytime I get to an actual park and visit some of the folks in the field, it's I become that 90% tourist, 10% employee, and I got to remember, hey, I'm here to do a job.
Right.
But look, it's there's nothing better than talking in amongst a group of my peers, and they just look at me like you've got the best job in the world. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
I really do. I get to go to national parks, talk to great people, see amazing things. So yes, it is. It's a blessing, and look forward to seeing you in the future, Rudy.
All right, brother. You take care of those young kids that you have, and make sure you keep them in the straight and narrow, which I know you're going to do a good job.
Absolutely.
All right,
See
thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Six Bugle Podcast. Just a friendly reminder: our conference is going to be held this year in Perrysburg, Ohio, on September 17th to the 19th. Six Bugle Fire Service Leadership Conference, and we're taking registrations now. We're getting a lot of people that are registered, so that's a good thing. And it's going to be our fourth year in a row. So we got some great speakers lined up. We just signed up another speaker, so we'll have those announcements today. Check it out on our website, the6bugle.org, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, Chief. Thanks again.